Welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your quiz master, Sean, and I've got 100 questions for you about hobbies and stuff geared towards those of us who are seniors. So let's have some fun, give our brains a workout, and let's see what we remember and know. Let's start from the top. What country is known for having several parks where you can bathe an elephant? China, Thailand, or Sri Lanka? You can bathe an elephant at a park in Thailand. In the Eczema Cays in the Bahamas, people can swim with pigs. Is that true or is that false? And that is true. Let's go. The oldest confectionery in Denmark is Konditori La Glace, Salmod's Bolcher, or Cafe Somersko. And I apologize for my lack of Danish knowledge. Konditori La Glace. Which opera house hosts the Opernball? The Netherlands' De Nationale Opera, Germany's Semperoper, or Austria's Wiener Staatsoper? And that would be Austria's Wiener Staatsoper. Ona Musha were female warriors in pre-modern Japan. Is that true or is that false? Ona Musha were female warriors in pre-modern Japan. That's true. The museum containing Sue the T-Rex is it the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, the Field Museum of Natural History, or the Academy of Natural Sciences of Drexel University? Sue the T-Rex is at the Field Museum of Natural History. Which cruise has a range of ports throughout Australia, New Zealand, and Vancouver, as well as sails to Alaska, Mexico, and the South Pacific? The Disney Wonder, the Royal Caribbean, or the Eurodam? And that cruise is the Disney Wonder. Cirque du Soleil first production was called Cirque du Soleil, Eclipse, or Le Grand Tour. And their first production was called Le Grand Tour. What is a good yoga pose for beginners? Is it the crane? Is it the mountain? Or is it the sleeping Vishnu? A good yoga pose for beginners is the mountain. How do you adjust a horizontal and vertical on a 1950s TV? Remove any magnetic field from the vicinity of the TV, adjust the settings on the remote, or turn the TV's dials until the picture achieves the correct sharpness and tone. Turn the TV's dials until you've got the correct sharpness and tone. True or false? Softball started out as an indoor sport, so it could be played during the winter. Is that true or is that false? That's true. Red palm oil is a traditional cooking oil is it in Malaysia, do they use it in West Africa, or South America? Where do they use red palm oil? West Africa. Which is the largest aquarium in the world? The Okinawa Churami Aquarium in Japan, the SEA Aquarium in Singapore, or the Shimalong Ocean Kingdom in China? The largest aquarium in the world is the Chimelong Ocean Kingdom in China. Ghost Town and Calico Railway is in which amusement park? Knott's Berry Farm, Dollywood, or is it Disneyland? Ghost Town and Calico Railway. That's at Knott's Berry Farm. True or false? A PLOS One study found that walking 10,000 steps lowered the 10-year mortality outlook by 46%. Is that true or is that false? That's true. Airstream travel trailers have been on the highway since has it been the 1950s, the 1980s, or the 1930s? Airstream travel trailers. They've been on the road since the 1930s. When was the first door-to-door perfume saleswoman hired? 1886, 1931, or 1965? The first door-to-door perfume saleswoman began in 1886. The California Perfume Company became Avon in 1939. Is that true or is that false? And that is true. What are the three great gardens of Japan? Ritsuren Rikugi-en Ryoan-ji Temple, Kenroku-en Tenryuji Temple, Koraku-en, or Kenroku-en Koraku-en, and Karaku-en. Kenroku-en, Koraku-en, Kairaku-en. The rink in Chicago, Illinois is it an ice rink, a roller skating rink, or is it a bar? The rink in Chicago, Illinois, that is a roller skating rink. Which RV company was the first to include slide-outs in their motorhomes? Newmar, Forest River, or Coachman? The first to include slide-outs in their motorhomes is the Newmar Company. Bertram Yacht's rival in the boating industry during the 1980s was it Lund, Hatteras, or Boston Whaler? Bertram Yacht's rival in the 80s. It was Hatteras. Dolphin Island Park was the first place to offer swimming with dolphins in the Dominican Republic. Is that true or is that false? Dolphin Island Park. That's true. Crescent Park Loof Carousel is it in Riverside, Rhode Island, New York, New York, or is it in San Francisco, California? Crescent Park Loof Carousel. That's in Riverside, Rhode Island. Willie McGee spent the majority of his 18-year career playing for did he play for the Boston Red Sox, the San Francisco Giants, or did Willie McGee play his career for the St. Louis Cardinals? He spent the majority of his 18-year playing career with the St. Louis Cardinals. True or false? The first knitting machine was invented by an English clergyman in 1589. Is that true or is that false? That is true. Way back in 1589. What is sofrito? An Italian pasta dish, a Mediterranean dessert, or a mixture of minced onion, carrot, and celery? Sofrito is a mixture of minced onion, carrot, and celery. The salsa dance was first popularized in the 1960s in, was it California, New York, or Louisiana? Where was a salsa dance first popularized? In New York. True or false? Knitting was always a predominantly female profession. Is that true or is that false? And that is false. The first knitting union in Paris in 1527 was a solely male association. There is a spam museum in Minnesota. Is that bogus or is that true? A museum dedicated to spam ham. That's true. Back in Time by Jay Sankey is it a song, a novel, or is it a card trick? Back in Time is a card trick. What do the Ojibwe call June's first full moon? The strawberry, the buck, or the ricing moon? The Ojibwe call June's first full moon the strawberry moon. Why is Flagstaff, Arizona a good place for stargazing? It has a higher elevation? Or is it because it's a small town? Or is it because they have dark sky coalition to keep the lights off at night? They actually organize keeping the lights off at night. The prototype for the game of Operation was invented in, was it 1952, 1964, or 1978? The prototype for the game of Operation, 1964. Zzz. A raised bed garden is good for areas with poor soil quality, people with a small budget, or plants with large root systems. What's a raised bed garden good for? Areas with poor soil quality. What is a UK card game with identical rules to Go Fish, Courtlets, Top Trumps, or Happy Families? That would be Happy Families. In most games, Super Mario lives in is it the Pepperoni Kingdom, the Spaghetti Empire, or the Mushroom Kingdom? Where does Super Mario live? He lives in the Mushroom Kingdom. People use wires with bonsai trees to keep their root system small, or does it train them into certain shapes, or does it help them retain water? Wires with bonsai trees. That trains them into certain shapes. Where can you get a ride in a real P-51D Mustang? Plains of Fame Air Museum, the Intrepid Museum, or the National Museum of the United States Air Force? You can get a ride in a real P-51 Mustang at the Plains of Fame Air Museum. An acoustic guitar is easier to play than an electric guitar. Is that true or is that false? An acoustic guitar easier to play than an electric guitar? That would be very much false. The Japanese Yumi bow is it a composite bow, an asymmetrical bow, or is it a long bow? The Japanese Yumi bow. That is an asymmetrical bow. The Amazon River dolphin is it the most widespread river dolphin? Is it the smallest river dolphin? Or is it yellow? The Amazon River dolphin is the most widespread river dolphin. Which of these fish would be good for a beginner saltwater aquarist? The queen anglefish, the mandarin fish, or the royal grama? And the answer is the royal grama. Knitting encourages relaxation by reducing blood pressure and decreasing heart rate. Is that true or is that false? And that is true. I'm going to go get my number 6 sticks and make a scarf. Balula Game Reserve is the largest reserve in Africa. Does it share an unfenced border with Kruger National Park, or it doesn't have any lodges. Balula Game Reserve. It shares an unfenced border with Kruger National Park. Palau de la Música Catalana is in Manresa, Spain, Vitoria, Spain, or Barcelona, Spain. Palau de la Música Catalana is in Barcelona, Spain. Conlanging is the creation of a constructed language such as Klingon or Esperanto. Is that true or is that false? Conlanging. That's true. Which is considered the best paragliding spot in India? Manali, Bir Billing, or Nandi Hills? The best paragliding spot in India? Well, Bir Billing, they say. Beanbag toss is also known as, is it hole-in-one, bag-ins, or cornhole? What is beanbag also known as? It's known as cornhole. A bowling game consists of how many frames? 10 frames, 8 frames, or 20 frames? There are 10 frames in a bowling match. What campfire song did Kirk, Spock, and Bones sing in Star Trek V? Campdown Races, Row, Row, Row Your Boat, or Take Me Home, Country Roads? Row, row, row your boat gently down. In 1908, darts was ruled to be a legal pub game because it was declared to be a game of skill rather than a game of chance. Is that true or is that false? That is true. Games of chance weren't allowed on licensed premises. Buffalo Bill Center of the West Museum is it in Texas, is it in Colorado, or is it in Wyoming? The Buffalo Bill Center is in Wyoming. What is one of the best vegetable plants to grow indoors because it doesn't require as much light as others? Bell pepper, lettuce, or tomato? That would be lettuce. Water aerobics is a high-impact exercise. Is that true or is that false? Water aerobics. That is false. Water buoyancy makes it low impact. Why it's commonly used by people who are healing from injury. What is the most popular audiobook genre? Romance, mystery, or thriller? The most popular audiobook genre. That would be thriller. What was Pac-Man's original name in Japan? Pac-Mani, Puck-Man, or Pac-San? Pac-Man's original name in Japan was Puck-Man. Coober Pedy in Australia is sometimes called the opal capital of the world because it yields approximately 70% of the world's opals. Is that true or is that false? That is true. The Rocky Mountain horse originated in the Rocky Mountains. Is that true or is that false? And that is false. Despite the name, the horse was bred in the Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky. I'm your Fuller Brushman, and I have a gift for you. What was the gift? a handy brush, a bottle brush, or a $3 off card to be used at any store on fuller brushes? It was a handy brush. Gumalimba Park is it in Roatan Island, Indonesia, or Madagascar? Gumalimba Park. That is located in Roatan Island. Beach balls were popular in films from was it the 1950s, the 1970s, or the 1960s? When were beach balls popular in films? And that would be the 1960s. Gachapon, Japanese capsule toy vending machines, were first set up by Ryuzo Shigeta in the 1960s. Is that fact or is that fiction? That's a fact. What is the Europeans' favorite country for camping vacations? France, Spain, or Italy? Europeans' favorite country for camping. That would be in Italy. The most popular smoked barbecue meat is it brisket, is it chicken wings, or is it sausage? And that would be brisket. Which place is called the Las Vegas of Asia? Manila, Macau, or Marina Bay? The Las Vegas of Asia is Macau. The first radio-controlled airplanes were hydrogen-filled and were used. Were they at science fairs, by the military to send messages, or as a music hall act in auditoriums? The first radio-controlled airplanes. They were used as a music hall act in auditoriums. The official term for a baby rabbit is it a kitten, is it a bunny, or is it a coney? A baby rabbit, officially, is a kitten. Who knew? The ABC Zilker Annual Kite Festival is it held in Los Angeles, California, Austin, Texas, or Washington, D.C.? The ABC Zilker Annual Kite Festival is held in Austin, Texas. The technical term for a kite is a tethered aerodyne. Is that true, or is it false? The technical term for a kite. And that is true. It's a tethered aerodyne. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. The manga series Berserk premiered in, was it 1992, 1981, or 1988? The manga series Berserk. That premiered in 1988. What manga series is about playing the game of Go? Yu-Gi-Oh!, Go Go Loser Ranger, or Hikaru no Go? And that would be Hikaru no Go. The dog sport flyball started in the late 1960s in, was it Edinburgh, Scotland, California, USA, or Bruges, Belgium? And that would be California, the United States. The clam bake exploded in popularity after, was it World War II, after World War I, or the American Civil War? When did the clam bake explode in popularity? After the American Civil War. A scratch in billiards is when? Is it when the pool table's cloth gets ripped? When the cue ball jumps off the table or rolls into a pocket? or is it when a player forfeits the game? A scratch in billiards. That is when the cue ball jumps off the table or rolls into a pocket. The Monkey Buffet Festival in Thailand is held in, is it Lopburi, Nong Khai, or Saraburi? The Monkey Buffet Festival is held in Lopburi, Thailand. What is another name for the crayfish? Is it the mud puppy? Is it the cray pup? Or is it the mud bug? Another name for the crayfish. That would be a mud bug. The Roquette in Dushanbe, Tajikistan is a chaikhana, which means is it a coffee house, a tea place, or a yoga plaza? A Roquette in Dushanbe, Tajikistan is a tea place. What is an affogato? Is it a Spanish slang for an awful cat, a Portuguese swimming move, or an Italian dessert usually consisting of a scoop of ice cream and coffee? An affogato. It's an Italian dessert usually consisting of a scoop of ice cream and coffee. The Pak Sachai, or Victory Gate, in Laos is dedicated to those who fought for independence from. Did they fight for independence from France, Britain, or China? In Laos, they fought for their independence from France. The Plain of Six Glaciers Tea House is 7,000 feet up and can only be reached by a 4-mile hike or horseback ride. Is that true or is that false? And that is true. The Plain of Six Glaciers Tea House is it Gankar, Tibet, Lake Louise, Canada, or Omsk, Russia? And that's located in Lake Louise in Canada. The largest county fair in Midwestern USA is it in Iowa, Minnesota, or Ohio? The largest county fair in the Midwest USA is located in Iowa. Geisha or geisha coffee comes from Japan. Is that true or false? Geisha or geisha coffee. Does that come from Japan? It seems obvious. It seems right, but it's not right. It originated in the Gora geisha forest in Ethiopia. The two spelling variations come from the first... Well, you got it. It's false. Yona Mountain Vineyards Crush Fest is so named because of the crush of crowds, the signature barefoot grape stomp event, or their crushed ice wine cocktails. The signature barefoot grape stomp event. What is a cappuccino? A drink made with coffee and steamed milk? A drink made with espresso and steamed milk? A drink made with espresso, steamed milk, and milk foam? Which one's a cappuccino? A drink made with espresso, steamed milk, and milk foam. The largest wine festival in the world is held in France. Is that true or is that false? Like, do you make wine in France? It would only make sense that it's in France. But it's not in France. Dürkheimer Wurstmark is the largest wine festival, and it's held in Germany. The biggest beer festival in the UK is it the Great British Beer Festival? Is it the Bigfoot Festival? Or is it the London Craft Beer Festival? The biggest beer festival in the UK. That would be the Great British Beer Festival. Keswick in the UK is home to is it home to the Grange Park Opera, the Derwent Pencil Museum, or the Festival of Hounds? Keswick in the UK is the home of the Derwent Pencil Museum. UK residents wear which poppy on Remembrance Day? The Oriental poppy, the Flanders poppy, or the bloodroot? On Remembrance Day in the UK, they wear the Flanders poppy. Laos is the only landlocked country in Asia. Is that true or is that false? And that is false. There are 12 landlocked countries in Asia. Hops are a climbing plant known as a bine as opposed to a vine. Is that fact or is that fiction? And that is a fact. The head of the Charles Regatta, the largest rowing race, is it held in the USA? Is it held in Britain? Or is it held in France? It is held in the USA. The lavender festivals in Provence, France are held from June to July, from May through June, or July and August. The lavender festivals in Provence, France. They're held from July to August. How many species of tiger swallowtail butterflies are native to North America? 7, 4, or 15 species of tiger swallowtail butterflies? There are 4 of them in North America. A less obvious benefit of volunteering is that it gives work experience, socializes people, or it lessens depression. What's the less obvious benefit of being a volunteer? It lessens depression. What is the most popular sport in Japan? Baseball, soccer, or is it sumo wrestling? The most popular sport in Japan. It is baseball. Research in New Zealand suggests that keeping a journal may help wounds heal faster. Is that true or is that false? And that is true. According to statistics, U.S. pet ownership has gone up 5% in the last 35 years. Is that true or is that false? That's false. It has gone up a lot more than that. Lillian Oppenheimer was fond of saying, why should the Japanese have all the fun about, is it karate, bonsai, or origami? She was talking about origami. Thank you so much for playing Quiz Time. Don't forget to drop your score in the comments section, please. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you never miss another Quiz Time. 'Cause it's fun, and we like having you here. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.